Hey, what's up, guys? So, in today's video, we are finally going to talk about Veronica and Iron Designs, right? Hold on, my pencil is messing things up. Okay, so I don't know where to start, guys. I'm not that interesting, really. So, born as Veronica Valentine. Yes, Veronica Valentine. September of 87. I'm 33. I'm obsessed with the color purple, teal, and sometimes pink when they're together, but not pink alone. It's overrated. Purple's underrated. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit anxious, retarded. This almost feels like socializing. Okay, let me see. So purple's my favorite color. I love anything like space related that's colorful. Usually it's like the purplish teal colors that are associated with space. So absolutely love it. I have a 17-year-old. Well, he's about to be 17. I'm married. This year will be 18 years together. I want to say about 13 married, 13 or 14. I don't remember. Somewhere around there. Some facts about me. I love paintball, Call of Duty style. I love playing Call of Duty. I love playing VR. I love The Sims. Been playing it for like 15 years. I still do from time to time. Not as much as I'd like to, but I own every expansion. Don't judge. Anyway, love The Sims. I love video games. More like role-playing simulation type games, cooking games, restaurant games, first-person shooters, some of them, VR. I love Beat Saber. Anyway, let me see. See, I'm not interesting, so I'm really plucking out some facts about me. I pretty much didn't go to college. I enrolled several times and quit a couple times before it was even started and after a semester. My ideas had changed during the course of starting, so I just quit. Yes, I got plenty of debt on that. But instead of choosing one career, what I decided to do, because I was tired of going to school and you still kind of had to have on-hands training to get paid anyway, so you're coming out of college with a pretty huge debt, right? I decided to take positions that were temp agencies. As long as you passed the interview, you pretty much got the job, and if you got the job, then they pretty much trained you. So you pretty much got free training. I mean, I've done everything from, I managed Citigroup when it was JP Morgan Chase. I was store manager for Rent-A-Center inside. Now, there's Rent-A-Center and Rack Acceptance. Rack Acceptance was the branch I opened in Florida and opened up a bunch of stores inside Ashley's Furniture, Kane's Furniture, but it's a part of Rent-A-Center. But I oversaw all the openings of those stores for most of the stores in Florida. I've done smoothies. I've done personal training, dietitian, Honda inventory management for Honda, customer service rep for Hilton, hiring manager for Amazon, work from home. I've done a lot. And I've never been fired from a job. They were all temporary assignments, and if I liked them, I would accept the offer to convert. And if I didn't, I'd move on and find something else. But I did gain the knowledge. A lot of the times, I'd learn their system, which is universal for some other companies, their procedures, their things. For instance, inventory manager with Honda. I can't tell you what other Honda or what other dealers were trying to contact me after I left them. Just opens up a whole bunch of avenues. My first job, however, was McDonald's. I'm proud to say that. My journey with McDonald's was pretty fun. I was young when I became a manager before an adult. I did all the duties, but I didn't actually get keys to close the store, or I didn't get to stay until after 11 o'clock until I actually reached adult. But I was pretty much running the mid shift and some of the night shift, a couple of hours after mid shift started, and then into the night. I oversaw the closing of one of the biggest stores in Florida, McDonald's wise, and dispersed employees as a teen, because I was still a teen at the time, manager. Then I became an adult and became actual manager for a while. It'll always be my go-to job if I have to. I can always go back, and let me tell you what, as a manager, you get paid. And as a store manager, that is. Let's see what else. So then I did corporate for many years. The corporate system was the same. It wasn't meant for you to climb and be comfortable. It was pretty much, the same BS. So I decided that I was going to do a work from home position. I was just tired of driving to the corporate side of town. Dressing up for me I'm not girly at all. At all. I don't wear a lick of makeup. So I really wanted to do away with having to drive into work, though some jobs did allow me to do my work from home. Sometimes I still had to go in. I wanted something that I was completely remote, so I started a job with Hilton. Originally just started off just to see what the process was with the hotels and whatnot. After working for Hilton for some time, they started adding timeshares to our spiel, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that I had to sell timeshares or none of that. So I pretty much applied for Amazon, got the job as a seasonal employee. Before you know it, I was I was manager through the chat, and then I became HR management. Excuse me. I went to Honda, purchased a car, and this is all relevant, right? Because it all leads from one to the other. Went to Honda to purchase a vehicle. You spend an entire day at a dealer when you're trying to get a vehicle, so conversations were had where inventory management position was offered to me at double the price of what I was getting paid for at Amazon. So I decided to do Amazon overnight because I didn't want to completely leave it, and then do Honda during the day. So I was inventory manager for Honda about 2 years when my mother suffered a stroke. When she suffered a stroke, I had enough PTO hours in my bank to literally take the whole year off if I wanted to. However, there was never a time that I could take time off that was appropriate for the company. So with that being said, when my mom suffered a stroke, I took some time off. Don't remember exactly how much time. It wasn't more than a week or two. But I was supposed to be back on a Tuesday. End of month rolls around. I get a text message from one of my higher ups in the department, and she says she needs me because they're low on numbers, bonuses are on the line, yada yada, that I need to come in. I kindly explained that I don't come in till Tuesday, so good luck with that. And they're like, oh, well, or she's like, if you don't come in, you don't have a job. That was the end of that. I didn't come in. I didn't have a job. I didn't give a crap because you weren't going to threaten me. And legally, because that was my job with Amazon, you cannot do that. But that's okay. I'm going to let you run your game. I'm an asset, not a liability. Let me tell you how much money I made the company getting cars that they could not get. So after leaving there, we had 2 cars that was financed through them. At that point, they threatened me for the vehicles since I didn't have an actual loan out on the car. I was just that good of an employee. I thought someone pulled up. So, long story short, I turned one in, got a loan for the other one, and never looked back to Honda. You know, I did stress the fact that obviously now it's one income, but that's okay. You know, it is what it is. I'm an asset, not a liability. My mother comes first, really, and at the end of the day, I gotta do what I gotta do to take care of her. So, I have what I considered a best friend. She is a lot older than me. She owns a supplement company. And over the course of 11 years, I would help her with her giant events and her anniversaries of her stores. She'd go big or go home. We're talking block parties, thousands of bodybuilders, fitness entrepreneurs, you name it, were out there. She had Araya Faber, Arnold, Rich Gaspari, Rich Piana, just to name a few. Many, many more that she had just for her block parties that she would have. And I would volunteer for that because I stood by what she did, giving back to the community and helping the community. And I loved fitness myself, and my husband too. So I get to she offers me a position that I actually take. She needed an employee in the store, and I just so happened to quit Honda, so it worked out. I took the position. It wasn't obviously, a supplement store, so I'm not expecting a giant salary, but we came into agreement. Hey, you meet these numbers, and we'll talk about your paycheck being these numbers. I'm okay with that because you put a challenge, and I'm gonna get there. So it was supposed to be part-time. Before you know it, she needed someone else for her store, for her second store. So my husband stepped in and was doing part-time. Then now she needed someone full-time in both stores. Guilt tripped us into doing so. We're talking open to close every day, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day, except on Sundays that they're like 11 to 9 p.m. Again, I saw her as a secondary mother. I literally would drop what I'd be doing to help her. My family got involved in helping her free of charge. Thousands and thousands and thousands years of man hours that I won't get back. That I would help her because I stood by what she did. So being her employee, the more I sold, the more she expected, the more I did, the more she wanted. Got to a point where she had an event. It was supposed to be my only day off. She threw a fit that she didn't have help and needed my help. Guilt tripped me into going. Got into a car accident along the way to Clearwater. And she said she would fix my car because, of course, I was working open to close. My husband was too. And we didn't get our car to get inspected for collision, or for comprehension and collision. So we didn't have collision activated. They had taken it up. We didn't know that. It was active because we were paying our payments, but we didn't get the inspection. So when we wrecked, it was not covered. It was supposed to be paid. She didn't. I stuck around for a little longer because she, you know, uh, wanted to go on vacation. She's been running the store for a decade now. It needs a break. Mind you, she's 60 years old. She gave back to the community a lot, so I stood by the fact that she did that. After almost 2 years, hurricane was hitting. And of course, like I mentioned, my mom has suffered a stroke, so we ensure that we have all her medications on hand when there's an emergency situation and things um, to have available for her because she's wheelchair bound. So I am on the clock. My husband is off. That day was supposed to be my off day, and she flipped the schedule around because her daughter had something to do. And again, the sort of things she did that didn't give people the option to do crap. She thought, oh, you're working for my store, you're making money, I do what I want. And really, my mindset was, oh, I'm helping people. It's okay, I love what I'm doing. But at some point, I had to take a step back with how she responded to me. So I tell her, hey, I have to take my mom to go get to the doctor to get her medications prescribed so that we can pick them up before the hurricane hits. And she tells me, quote unquote, I cannot help you. I lost it. I will not even sugarcoat it. I won't lie about it. I unprofessionally lost it. And in my career time, I have never been unprofessional in a workplace. I have always left with the proper necessary tool, responses in play strategically. But when she tells me she can help me, mind you, I'd be at the gym and she needs someone to open her store. Me and my husband would get up and go. We'll be making dinner. Oh, or lunch. I need someone to cover the store for me. I forgot I had a meeting with this person. We're packing our lunches and we're going. My son spent a great deal of his summers in the back stock room because we were there open to close. So needless to say, when she responded to me like so, I lost it and I walked out on shift, mid shift. Customers in the store didn't give a fuck. Didn't give a darn. And just left. For her to respond to me like that when I've put her on a pedestal like a parent. I'd drop what I'd be doing, my son, my husband, my nieces, to help her out and her daughter, which we had a horrible relationship. If you put gloves in our hands, we would literally duke it out. I just, out of respect to my friend, no one wants to have their friend have issues with their daughter, right? So, again, another something that I just swallowed my pride because I had love for the lady. But at some point with her response, I realized I was just a number for her. I saw her like a mom, and she saw me like corporate dollar signs, her vacations, her, you name it, because I can fully handle her stores while she is completely gone for a month or two. So I walked out. I cried about it because we're talking about 13 years of friendship gone because I've never looked back since. From that day, I cried about a month and a half. I obsessed about what was going to happen. I just pretty much prayed about it. In October, this happened the last couple days of September. Yeah. October 18th is mine and my husband's wedding anniversary. So me and my nieces usually do slime, bath bombs, makeup, just to kind of spend some time together. But we were tired of the same stuff, and the boys couldn't play with us because we're always doing girly things. So I was looking up things to do that were different, and this cricket came popping up over and over to the extent I mentioned it to my husband, and for our anniversary, he comes home with a cricket. And I didn't even think I was really going to get one, because in my mind, I'm like, it's not worth me paying that kind of money just to have something to do with the kids. So never did I have in mind to make do t-shirts. None of this. Not It was not my plan. Just to pass time, because my husband was he has his company, a distribution. He had his distribution company at the time, and he was out working while I was at home, and needed things to do other than gym, right? Because I didn't want to go to the gym and run into the same people, right, at that time. So after that, all my clothes were pretty much her store line. She had a lot of muscle shirts and stuff like that I was obsessed with showing my muscles. I used to work out pretty hard with my husband, and all my clothes were Southern Muscle. So when I got this Cricut, I decided I was going to redo my clothes, because my whole wardrobe was her clothes for a free promotion. Again, I treated her like her pockets were part of my family's pockets. Even before I became an employee. 11 years before I became an employee. Husband, son, niece, you name it. So I posted a couple of shirts I had did with the Cricut vinyl I had did, and I made my own design. It was a bicep and a whole bunch of words in the shape of a bicep. And I posted it online, and so many people wanted it. How much? Where can I get this? And by November, I was taking orders, and this was October 2019, October 18th, 2019. So by November, I was taking orders daily and way in over my head. I cried. I had meltdowns. I went 16 to 18 hours without eating, not even breakfast, hammering down bangs, which caused dehydration. Cyclic vomiting syndrome is another thing I won't even get into on this video. I made myself so sick between November and April 2020. April, May. Christmas, I won't even begin to explain. That all my learning was crying through the entire time. I mean, I literally didn't have any room for error. I didn't have an employer, or I didn't have a job. So essentially what I charged for the shirt, I would get up front, and then I would purchase the material I needed to do the item, and maybe stay with $3 or $4 after it was all said and done. And I was okay with that, because I actually liked doing what I was doing at the time. The cutting of the vinyl, the weeding, that was just too much for me. Having the colors on hand, always a customer that wants a different shade. Oh, that shade's too bright. That one's not bright enough. So just the constant having to have the right stock, and it's a gamble, really. I pretty much sought into sublimation. I ran into a guy who was selling $10,000 worth of stuff, and I just asked him questions about it. Or he didn't have a price, and then he sent me a whole bunch of messages towards the end. He's like, "Oh, $10,000. Oh, sorry, I don't have that, but if you still have it when I do, I'll hit you up." He's like, "Oh, well, how much do you have?" I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't want to disrespect. I was way far off, so I didn't even want to mention the number to him." And he's like, "Just tell me." So I'm like, $1,000. And he's like, "Okay, when can you come?" We're talking, when I did the math, it was about $13,000 worth of stuff. I cried for days after that. I got the 16 by 20 heat press. That cutter. Bins and bins of white shirts that literally, or white, red, black, and gray shirts that got me through all of 2020 without me having to order, including polyester t-shirts. That's how I got put on to Team 365, because that was part of what I had purchased from him. I had a cutter, I had a Stahl's hat press, a Stahl's mug press. These were all brand new, still with the wrapper, a Sawgrass printer, the shirts, the press, the cutter, and then they were moving, so they gave me a 7720 that his wife used for her office. So as I'm sitting in my tiny home, because I had lived in a tiny house on a piece of property, um, as I'm looking like, wow, my husband's gonna kill me about all this stuff that is in the home because there was literally no walking space. I start to search what things are for. I realize that the sawgrass is for sublimation, and then I see that the workforce was a thing. So I just decided to um, convert, and I was using the sawgrass for some time, and when I got the grips of it, I decided to compare the both and the Epson one, so I sold the sawgrass. That right there almost made me my money that I paid for everything. I sold the hat press. I sold a lot of things before I even got into it, because all I really wanted was the press. Press alone was $900 at the time, so that's all I seriously wanted. Time goes by, he becomes my customer. He literally had everything, you name it, to craft. Everything. I still have vinyl rolls that are brand new. Excuse me. That are still brand new, and I haven't even used foil. That is still brand new. Glitter vinyl for days that are still brand new. So, that's how Iron Designs came about. I just pretty much wanted to create my own clothing line, and it started from there. And really, with every order, I would act like I knew what I was doing, but get it done. Before you knew it, it was becoming second nature. I became obsessed with it. During Black Lives Matter, I donated so many T-shirts for just the price of the shirt and the print. But I spent 18, 20 hours in the lab to get them done before, the protests that were going on. I spent a lot of countless hours with the workforce and troubleshooting, the clogs, all the maintenances that go with the workforce, with the XPs. I started with an XP 410. That was actually the first one that I had, but I came across this deal, and I still hadn't used the 410 yet, but I was learning about it. And then when I saw the sawgrass, then that's when I really got into it, because there wasn't much about the 410 for printing T-shirts, just as the printer alone. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure what this is. Fast forward, COVID hit. I surely thought Iron Designs was going to die, but that's when it became the most busiest. Come Christmas, I was no longer taking orders Christmas Day or Christmas Eve day. I pre-planned, pretty much have on hand any given time 10 of each color and size shirts, white, gray, red, black, and then white polyester. I have always 15 of each size, because for memorials usually there's about 10 of one size somewhere or more. So I try to have those on hand, especially closer to the weekend where you can't order and get it next day from any company. How I take orders, I just post my work on Facebook. I don't put it nice. I don't photo shoot it. I literally put it where you can tell that is in my lab and you know it's my work, and take a picture of it. I don't sugarcoat or fluff nothing. My customers get their shirts in a USPS bag. But let me tell you what. I have done a poll, right? They pay $19.99 a t-shirt. $5 extra if they want something on the back, depending on how big their order is and how big the back design is. I will play with that number, all the way up till 2x or extra large, 2x, 3x, 4x, $24.99. If it's polyester, $29.99 for the X's and up. But children are $14.99, and again, same thing applies. $5 if they want it back, but they have 24 hours. If they have their order to me by the time I go to bed at nighttime, I'll wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and by sunrise, their order is ready for pickup. I've had someone reach out to me at 10 o'clock. Oh, I'm going to Busch Gardens at 12. Can you have 12, 15, 12 shirts ready? I've done that. I've done 30 shirts in an hour. Vinyl. I've done print and cuts. I've tested every quality out there. I've compared cost. Um, my goal is always quality. I can't tell you how many customers start off with, I bought a shirt from you last year and it still looks great. That makes my heart happy. And I'm not rich because I got thousands of orders, but I'm making enough to survive and to make this my own. And I'm not greedy about it. And I tell you what, for picture day, an honor to have a family photo taken with my shirts on. That to me is a blessing. When you're ordering a Christmas present from me for their special someone, a Christmas present. I mean, most people go and want to get something special, and they order from us, from me, from your company. That's a blessing. You know, they're entrusting in you and your product and your quality as a gift. To gift to someone. So to me, that means the most. I lost my train of thought and where I was going with this. I'll probably rewind it and be like, oh, well, that's where I was going. But hey, you know me, Hot Mess Express, right? It's almost that time for me. So there might be a part 2. So I pretty much just post on Facebook. I bought a white toner printer and started posting on Etsy, just white toners, because I don't think it's worth what Etsy charges you and what I charge per shirt to actually sell t-shirts on Etsy. My opinion, unless I sell it for $5 more to offset fees and stuff. It's just not worth it for me. I get a great deal of business here local, so I'm okay with that. And I also ship out worldwide too, and I get a great deal of that as well. I pretty much promote on Marketplace. I just post my work on Marketplace. Hey, if you want quality work, if you want quality items, hit me up. Any design can be created because I can pretty much create any design. I don't know Photoshop. I do know Silhouette. I taught myself Silhouette. Coming from design space was the worst thing, but I had to sell my Cricut to actually do it. Sold my Cricut because of the limitations it had. Let me start there. I use Square to invoice people. I use online when it's slow season. I turn on and off my website because I like to control my turnaround time. Usually my turnaround time is 24 hours or close to it. So I want to make sure that I can control that, and know exactly what the customer needs. And having a site will just give me anxiety because if they order something I don't have on hand, or I won't be able to communicate before their money's in my bank account, and I just don't like. I like to be clear before you pay. So I use Square. I currently just started using PayPal, a website, and just pretty much through word of mouth. A lot of my customers come from, oh, my friend, my mom, or my brother bought me this for a holiday. I bought this for my daughter bought me this for Mother's Day, and I'd like to order this. And it's just word of mouth. I always go above and beyond for my customers. Give them a little more than they expect. I always try to, at least. I always make my prints bigger than the normal. Always makes the customer happy to do so. Not in every instance, but it has gone in my favor. So this October 2021, Iron Designs will be 2 years old, and I've came a long way. I used to, the meltdowns in here were so unreal, to the extent my son has watched me have a meltdown. My husband has had to come home and just hold me from my meltdowns. Most people just like to vlog the good stuff, but running a business is tough, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, I never was a businesswoman. I never went to school for it. Um, you just get smart. I mean, we don't have a manual for life either, and every day we just get smarter than we were yesterday. You can't be afraid. At the end of the day, this is Jehovah's plan. I didn't have a plan ever in my life to do t-shirts or custom or what I'm doing today, nor making videos, because I'm so antisocial. I will text or chat with people all day on Facebook, but I will not meet someone in person. That's just me. My family has a hard time getting me to get-togethers, and they even have them in my yard, and I still don't come outside. Like, don't knock on my door. Use the yard, don't knock on the door. So I'm very antisocial. So to me, none of this was part of my plan. But I woke up, it happened, and at some point I stopped being upset about everything that went wrong, though it's only we're only human and it happens. I stopped pouting, I stopped crying, I stopped danging everything the heck in here, tossing things around. Um, I started realizing that this was my prayer. I prayed when I left my supplement dietitian job. I prayed, how are we going to get through this? What were the odds that my husband actually paid attention to what I was asking him for, and he brought home the exact model that I needed to do what I needed to do, out of so many things that are out there. And then how the flow of and support of my friends that weren't really face-to-face friends, just my followers on Facebook, it all just unraveled only by the grace of God, to be honest. There's no real logical explanation. I get choked up really thinking about it. 2 years now. This whole time, I'm being ungrateful to the blessing that He has provided. And let me tell you, the deals that I have came across for equipment doesn't even begin to explain how much of a blessing. Every time I needed the equipment, when I needed it, it was there effortlessly. I was able to learn it effortlessly. I take no credit for any of it. I didn't study any of it. I just rolled with the plan. Then I started helping people out online, and I was getting blocked and hate messages for, I'm stepping on people's toes. They're trying to sell inks, or I didn't sell anything. I would just help them out. And I got tired of seeing newbies that were vulnerable, that just really wanted it to make it work and needed to make it work for their financial gain in their household. I just kept getting blocked, and I just decided I'm going to vlog my journey. Maybe someone else out there goes through what I'm going through, because all these other vloggers, everything is so perfect all the time, and I just don't know how they get it perfect every single time. So I just set out to create a YouTube Uh, it's only 3,000 people almost, but I've had my YouTube for a long time because I used to do music. I used to own a record label and a record company. It's how I met my husband. In fact, we were 15 and he was at one of my concerts and I signed a poster. And then a year later, one of my dancers introduces me to him for him to audition as a vocalist. So I don't know where I was going with that. The industry was just definitely not something for us and what we believed in. So, this whole process, I told myself I had to create my business because after what I considered to be a best friend treated me the way she did, being an asset in her own company, I definitely had no doubt in my mind that there was truly no company ever that was going to have you sitting comfortably or try to raise you up from the ground above anyone else, especially not them. So to have started Iron Designs is a short statement of, is the statement of a blessing isn't even the word for it. Where it's gone, hopefully where it's headed. I'm just rolling with the punch. There's no plan. I don't have a business plan. I just try to beat the sales I did yesterday. And last Monday to Monday, last year, month, okay, this last year, this month, I did this much. I have to do this month. I play those games with myself because at the end of the day, that keeps me competitive. Because being your own boss and not really having that ladder to climb, you have to find something to do. So I challenge myself. I try to learn new things because at the end of the day, I want to log in less man hours but still provide the same quality and customer service that I believe in and me as a consumer would want, as well as still spend time with my family. Though I practically live in my lab, I'm literally sleeping and wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with an idea, and it's just like, it consumes me sometimes. I can't stop thinking about it. On vacation, I felt like I was lost without it. I didn't even know what to do with my life. On days that I finally tell myself I'm not taking orders, it's just I'm in my lab still training myself. I set apart time to train myself, um, to test my quality. I always test. I've learned in this industry that you really, really can't go by what someone is saying. Their experience, their mindset, their business growth may not be the same one you have. For instance, I'm not bashing anyone, but I would hear the cricket, or let me not even start there. I would hear, oh, you can sublimate on 65% cotton. I've done it. It's fine. There's no difference. And that was something that had went around, oh, you can. I mean, you can. It just doesn't mean you should. The science of sublimation is for 100% polyester. And then people, oh, what is wrong with my ink? What is wrong with my printer? What is wrong? Help me. It's dull. Yeah, because you could do it doesn't mean it's going to be right. I just, there's a lot of hearsay. Oh, you need 400 degrees, or you need 60 seconds. I've gotten it down to 30 seconds. I've even done 10 seconds. And 354, 53 degrees. So I encourage you to test your product and invest the time to better yourself for what you stand for what you offer. I guess I don't even know. After getting emotional, I just need to go get a smoke break. Again, there was no real plan with this. I didn't wake up like, okay, I'm going to go buy this, buy that, buy this. I'm starting a t-shirt business. This is what I want to do. Um, when Homeland Security and NFL raided right before the vacation, I came back and things were just off. I was scared. I was nervous. I was anxious all the time. I felt like people were setting me up. My numbers were suffering because it was declining. I felt like it was failing. Um, did I have people trying to order? Yes, but I didn't believe that there were real people anymore. Um, I just, for a period of time, the drama of the groups consumed me. People can be so nasty to other people. And if you have a heart of gold like me, I just can't stand by and watch it. Um, so the drama in the groups consumed me and put me in a dark place that I had to take a moment and bring it all back to where the focus should have been. Sometimes I care more than the person themselves, and really it shouldn't be that way. I'll put out my content. I like to do so because I believe that others go through the same mistakes I do, and it's not picture perfect like we see all these big name vloggers. They get paid to make it pretty. At the end of the day, I don't get paid to make it pretty, and if I did, then that's not the job for me, because you're not going to pay me to lie. So I'm not a liar, and by no means will I start to do so for any kind of money, uh, for anybody, really. It's just me and who I am. So um, I am monetized on YouTube, so if any of y'all want to give back, I have people who are constantly asking, I want to pay you for your time. I just feel like if everyone's trying to eat, I can't charge you when you're trying and you're not making money. The best bet is to help me grow, share the group, share my videos, like, subscribe, watch the ads, get people to join the groups. You know, that's the best way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to turn down any donations, but I'm not asking for them. That's not why I'm helping. If you can get your business going and you can feed your family and have security and build a foundation, that's my payment with it enough, because many times I have faced the wall wondering what I'm going to do. But at some point, I let go of the car too, so I didn't have to deal with any kind of payments that I didn't need. And 6 months after COVID hit, or 6 months into 2020, we purchased a brand new SUV from Ford. Not the kind of car that I would ever drive, because I came from a manual SI. Love sports cars. But it was something that, again, we had the money, we saw it, our opportunity to make the investment and not be attached to the bill that comes behind what if the business fails. And so we went with it. No car payment. Perfect. On to the next. I don't have a storefront, only because, again, all those added costs rub off into the price for the customer. And that's one thing that I hear all the time, is that my prices are outstanding for the quality. So I get repeated customers all the time, which is a blessing. And let me tell you, since I ran into DTF, which I don't even know how I did, to be honest, I actually had the XP 15,000 because I was doing some sublimation testing, and I realized that the reveal sheets for sublimation on cotton had some colors that were kind of blotchy during the pressing. I reached out to Vivid Chemical and Nina, which are the company, yes, Nina, the maker of 3GO Peak, because they're the ones who sent me the paper to do the review on. So, I reached out to them and I sent them my findings, and they advised to me that having a 5-6 color printer would give me a better color gamut, which totally makes sense, right? So I get my hands on this XP 15,000. I bartered some Smarticles and some cash for it, and I have it sitting there waiting for my inks to arrive so that I can convert it to sublimation. Along the way, because you can only find sublimation ink from China, I run into DTF. I don't even know how. I don't know how I ran into DTF. But that same week, I found an Artisan 1430 for $50. And I bought it because it was a wide format. I thought I'm going to convert it for sublimation. But no, I was still researching this DTF stuff, which there really wasn't. I mean, they only show printers. I wasn't in any DTF group or none of that. I didn't know none of that existed until fellow member Jason and a few others had tagged me in a couple of groups, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I'm like, oh, I have the XP. I'm going to convert it to DTF. But of course, like everything else, I always choose the printers that no one has extensive videos on, right? Because I decide to set myself up for meltdowns. I convert the printer, run into 1,000,001 issues. I didn't expect all my followers to follow along, and they did. I ran into the issue where AcroRip was not successfully running, and the company was not reaching out to my members or myself. Had another meltdown. So from the very beginning of 2020 to now was the only meltdown that I have had. And let me tell you, almost destroyed the entire lab that week between chip resetters stating they were American, getting them and they were European, paying extra for shipping and not receiving it, or receiving the product that was totally not what I paid for. And these companies are just, oh well. I just had enough when the AcroRip thing happened. It sent me off. And did I let it get too far? Possibly. But we got results, I guess. We got it resolved. And here I am doing DTF. It has replaced my income of shirts. And I don't have to worry about copyright. Because at the end of the day, the liability comes from the person who is sending the image. So I'm just charging for printing services. I'm not selling any designs, right? So it has been more peaceful. I don't have anxiety. I'm really happy to get into work. It has opened up a whole nother door. Again, power of prayer. I pretty much prayed and asked to help me get through the situation that I felt with the whole Homeland Security and NFL, because that right there was like a whole movie scene for me at that point. Really, I can never put it into words because it was like emotion blur. I wanted to throw up, pee, poop, pass out. My heart was beating so fast, adrenaline through the roof. You name it, sweating profusely. Like, I just wanted to die of fear. Mainly in part because I was going to lose everything that I worked so hard for, right? All the meltdowns, all the bartering, tinkering, learning, improvising, implementing, all of that. It takes a toll on you if you don't see it as a blessing, because anyone in the world can do this, but it's up to you to make it work. I could have quit long ago and completely sabotaged whatever plan, and I mean, heck, if it dies tomorrow, the last 2 years have been wonderful. I met wonderful people. 3 of my best friends came from crafting. Wouldn't even tell you that I had a best friend prior to crafting. There was no such thing for me except for the lady at Southern Muscle, and that was a one-sided street. It just wasn't part of the plan. You have to have ambition and the will to want to, and that's it. Baby steps are way better than not doing it and wondering what if. I mean, You'll never be able to leave the other job if you're not working yours. Whether it's 1 hour a day, 10 minutes a day, one shirt in a month, and then two shirts the following month. But you're still building on that, you know? Try to see the bigger picture, because many times even my husband was like, "What is this? What are you doing and why? This is not what this is supposed to be like." But that was before I saw it as what a blessing. Someone needs help or they need t-shirts, I can come to my lab and get it done within the 5 minutes. I don't have to drive to work. I don't have to get dressed if I don't want to. I don't mean, but I don't have to do my hair if I don't want to brush my teeth, because there's definitely been days where I don't want to do nothing but get this work done, okay? Don't act like you haven't been there. We've all been there where we're puzzled as to what the heck can we do to get through it, right? So, let's continue, guys. I definitely want to see everybody win. I mean, there's definitely enough food in this industry for everybody's plate. So, if we all quit competing, I mean, I don't compete with no one. Heck, if you can get above me, help me up when you up there. I mean, why would anyone want to compete with anyone? It's an ill trait to have. I just try to compete with me. If I'm ugly, if I'm rude, if I'm nasty, I try to be better than that. I'm only human, don't get me wrong, and I'm under pressure a lot of times. I try to have the right answers for you guys all the time. If I don't know it, I'm extensively researching to ensure that I'm getting you the right answer. And I won't let no company one up my members either. So, guys, there might be a part 2, because there might be some things I left off or bounced around on, and I'm probably going to hear it in the comments like, but what happened here? So this will mark this one a part 1, and if you have any more questions, I guess we can do a part 2, and then go from there. Bye, guys. Thanks for sitting with me during this lengthy, weird story. See ya.